People have spoken. The red card has been pulled out. I think I agree with them. The red has been given to 21 Savage, ladies and gentlemen. That was a moment from our first reaction to 21 Savage's new album, What Happened to the Streets. If you guys want to catch the entire live album reaction and our entire catalog on Patreon, you guys could do so by hitting the link in the pinned comment or in our description. But welcome to our official review. Been a while since we've done a review for an album, and this is one of the biggest mainstream releases of the year. 21 Savage kind of came out of nowhere with this new rollout, and listen, it's his first album since American Dream, which came out in 2024.
Yes, it did.
People had high expectations because there were hits on that album, some of his most personal cuts ever, so I would say the excitement was pretty high going into this one, but let's get started. Artist performance. What did you make out of it this time?
Artist performance, as per usual. Great to be back in the review chair. I had a fun time listening to this album in the whip, and contrary to the first live album reaction,
yeah.
I think this is much better on the aux. There's a lot of things I didn't hear within that first live album reaction that I do appreciate a bit more now that I've given it much more time on the weekend and that I've had a good time with it in the car. So for the most part, I feel like you'll find a couple of different 21 Savages on this album. You know, I feel like on the first portion of the album, especially when it comes to, let's say, songs of Code and Honor, for example, or a Cup Flow or Jump Out, you find the more aggressive, traditional Savage mode type of 21 Savage, where you see him get into the street talk, and we'll talk about that more in the content matter. But that's like run-of-the-mill 21 Savage for me, right? I've been getting it since 2016. I'm a fan of that sound, so to be able to get maybe a couple of more tracks for the end of 2025 around that sound, to me, was super cool. Then, once you start getting a bit deeper into the track list, it's interesting because I feel like he takes a bit of a turn. And that's where you're going to find not softer performances, but maybe flows that are less aggressive. He's more meditative. For example, when you go onto a song, I want to pull it out, like Atlanta Tears or Halftime or Big Stepper or Gang Over Everything, he's approaching these productions with a lot more patience. He's not as sinister. He's not as aggressive. So how did you like that duality throughout the track list?
Nothing new, to be honest with you, right? We got the same thing on American Dream. We've gotten it maybe in smaller doses on I Am Greater Than I Was. So I kind of expected to get more of this 21 Savage, that letter to my brother type of 21 Savage. And yeah, this is, like you said, pretty run-of-the-mill for 21, right? I mean, it only takes him a minute to call us a pussy through an ad-lib, so you're going to be getting filled with a bunch of exciting ad-libs from 21, which you get within every single studio album. I think he strives the most in the first half of the track list, right? Looking at a song like Where You From, where you have that menacing and patient flow.
I did the count on that, by the way. 4 to 5 just flow switches within just those two verses alone.
And just the way that his flow gradually gets faster as the song builds up momentum. And you really feel his wrath, the way every single word is delivered. So there's a lot of those performances in the first half that I do enjoy. Him sounding fired up on Step Brothers as well, where he just finds this dope pocket, bro, and his cold-blooded delivery just kind of hits through every single 808. That was
a sick
fire.
setup, by the way, with the water bottle and the phone.
Yeah,
I like that.
absolutely.
I took the notes down on the phone, and you put the water bottle.
No
there.
laptop this time, so we got the phone.
Could you show the audience what type of setup you have right now for it?
I don't know if they could. I'm not gonna move it. But yeah, I love how raw he sounds on Cupful also, bro.
Sick.
He sounds super raw in that song. That reminded me a lot of Savage Mode.
Well, that's
that
what I was
felt
gonna
like
say,
a
right?
Savage Mode cut.
And that was a sort of, I guess, a contrary view that you and I had on that album reaction back on Thursday night. We were listening to Cup Flow, and I was like, yo, that sounds like a Savage Mode. And you're like, nah, it doesn't. And then after that, we had the conversation again, and I was saying that it doesn't have to be as good as Savage Mode, but these flows do remind me of stuff that you would have found back in 2016. Same thing on Jump Out, right? Super monotone, but there's a sort of dark mystique to his voice that gets you scared or gets you pumped up. Like, it just gets the adrenaline going, and he doesn't have to be rapping super quick.
Let's talk about the weaknesses, though, because there's weaknesses in this artist's performance. Starting off with the hooks. The hooks are super fucking
shit,
repetitive.
bro, like Big Stepper.
Ha 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 ha. Whoa. Like, he's doing the whole homage to Chief Keef's Laughing to the Bank, and that also originated from 50 Cent. I get it. He's paying homage. It doesn't mean it's going to sound any good. Same thing on Jump Out, bro. Another weak, boring, monotone hook from 21 where, you know, he's giving you what you expect to be heard, which
but
is
that's
the
it. Like, I don't even think
song.
that's a weak hook for this album, just because it's run-of-the-mill 21. I've heard other hooks like that, and I will say this, even something like Pop It, right? We had this conversation on Thursday. Do I think it's a weak hook? No, I just think like you got this exact same flow and melody
It's
on
lazy
something like
though.
Running, right?
It's a lazy hook.
Yeah, it is, because it doesn't change it up, and then I guess it leaves me as like an audience member kind of questioning, well, was this hook even needed? You just might as well have given me straight bars, and then after that, I'm out of here, right?
Yeah.
Even on something like, I believe it was Dog Shit, bro, where he's going back and forth with Glorilla, like, that's a horrible hook. That should have never made the album, dude.
Oh, that whole song is literally dog shit. That being said, I will say this: when it comes to that second half of the track list, which I'm not as fond of it as the first, but my issues occasionally come on a song like Big Stepper, where he's basically talking, right? Rhythmically, there's not much going on. It feels kind of like spoken word, and 21 already is known to be monotone in times, which that works when he's being threatening, when there's like some sinister trap shit going on in the background. But when it's on a soulful, more upbeat sound, and he's kind of just talking to you, you disengage so quickly.
Yeah.
And that's something that I...
Another note about Big Stepper, I'm not sure if you noticed this too, but going back to the hooks, stylistically, there's nothing that differentiates that hook from the actual verses, bro. Like, I kind of got confused, because by the time you get to that hook section, it almost feels like it's one long extended verse, and the only time you pick up on, oh, this is probably a hook on this song, is when you get towards the end of the song, because he's repeating the same fucking lyrics. And then you get like 12 bars for your hook. Like, it just, like you said, it's repetitive, it's slow, it doesn't keep you engaged, but the verses were all right on that song. I didn't have too much to complain when it came to the actual to the actual verses.
I mean, listen, when it comes to a rating for this artist's performance, I'm going to give it a good rating.
I have a good rating as well.
I think that what made me happiest about his performance was that there was no fucking singing. Thank the Lord. There was no terrible auto crooning at all.
Yeah, the melodic
on
cuts
this
would have
album.
killed this, bro.
That would have been
a
awful.
huge fucking problem.
I was happy about that. And for the most part, you're getting run-of-the-mill 21 Savage. A lot of repeated flows and him just doing what he's been doing for albums.
Yeah, and I kind of want to share that same sentiment, where this is good 21 Savage.
It's basic 21 Savage.
You've heard it on Savage Mode 2, I Am Greater Than I Was, American Dream. I mean, it's everywhere, right? But I think for me, where I find the value is, again, going back to those timeless Savage Mode flows at the beginning of that track list and just fucking ripping it in my whip. Like, that is what I want. And I think it was actually cool to see him get a bit more like meditative towards the end of the track list. But let's go on to these features, man.
Yeah,
this was a track list that became predictable. As soon as I saw the track list was posted up and we got the features, I'm like, I know what I'm getting out of this, bro. This is the safest track list 21 Savage could ever roster, bro.
I agree with you, but I was also surprised only in the sense of the low caliber performances of a lot of these features. I want to start off with Young Nudie, who's featured on Step Brothers. The vocal mixing is terrible on that song,
I found it
bro.
better in the car, though. I'm not sure if it was because of our headphones, but I found it to be better in the car.
I bumped it in the whip through headphones. It's not sounding any better to me. It's not properly mixed. And I also feel like if you're going to give us a verse like that, that's a bit rough, don't make it as extended as it was. I felt like it was too long, and I lost interest really quickly, whereas 21 had a strong performance on that cut.
And it's kind of weird, too, because Nudie's usually really cool and, like, energetic with his flows, comes in, and he's kind of eccentric, right? Like, he always tries to show out, and especially on 21 songs, like, they have such a stacked catalog together. This was uneventful, might be arguably one of their worst collaborations, and I think it's because of the Nudieverse. Let's talk about Drake, though, all right? This is my note. Drake made an appearance to make an appearance. That is legitimately, I think, the entire point of this feature. He has this nursery, cat in the hat, like, flow, bro. And I almost feel like when he stops his portion for the first half, he's kind of seeing if he could go in again and then, like, just kind of walks away from the mic. It almost seems like a one-and-done type of freestyle. And that's what I don't like about these features as a whole, to be honest with you. These features, I don't feel like were curated to create any real excitement out of the listening experience. I don't think that they were curated to add something new and fresh for his catalog. This felt safe. It felt like it was calculated for the streams, and it was like, okay, let's see what this Drake features would like. Let's see what Latto's gonna do now with 21 because of the dating rumors. Just everything about this track list for the features felt so forced.
It wasn't about the music. Yeah, I agree. And when it comes to the Drake collab, I'm not saying it's their worst collab ever. I think it does rank towards the bottom. It's not on the level of a Calling on You, for example.
No.
But it's just, this should have been a fucking big moment, bro. You're getting a Drake feature during a year where he was relatively quiet on other people's albums, didn't really show out like that. You're on a big 21 Savage album. You're gearing up for Iceman. Bro, give us a fucking mental verse. Give us something that that's really going to stick with us and hold us over. But that wasn't the case. Like you said, Dr. Seuss vibes, bro. Not only in the nursery rhyme flow, which was paired with this very sleepy sort of delivery where he had that morning voice, but even the bars had the Dr. Seuss vibes with shit like, just bought a pair of new gym fucking socks. Like, bro's rapping about a pair of socks he just copped. Like, what am I listening to?
But that's it. It almost feels useless, right? And it's not to say that these guys can't create good music. They have a track trajectory of making so much great quality music, but at the same time, when you're getting stuff like this, it questions just the integrity of the feature, right? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm too harsh, or I actually hold features to value, but when you went to like, let's say previous 21 albums, whether it was like, let's say Gunna and J. Cole, for example, on I Am Greater Than I Was, or like that Travis or Doja Cat feature on something like American Dream, you didn't have those performances on this track list, maybe besides G Herbo. I think that's maybe the only feature on this track list that you could probably like say, okay, this was merited. This is a great fucking feature.
So let's speak about G Herbo. I thought it was the best feature on the album, without a doubt. Passionate performance, has the hunger, comes in speaking about the actual theme of the song. Like, there was a real like plan with this track where he's rapping about his street code, and he's rapping about loved ones that he's lost to the streets. And again, he just rapped with some real effort, and that was appreciated. Let's talk about Latto on Pop It. Comes in with some cringe ad-libs, raps about creaming if her man buys her a whip, and a bunch of other...
Yeah, it says 21's house is like the Buckingham Palace because she wanted to like make the connection that he's British. It's like, dude, we get it. Like, you know, we've been knowing he's British. Like, it's cool. We could leave those bars off of the album, but nonetheless, comes in playing with her kitty meow, says 21 Savage on this one. I just found that to be a stupid bar.
Yeah, he had some cringy lyrics there too. Glorilla is featured on Dog Shit, and it's awful, bro. Her flow is all over the place. She tries to make every line of her verse relate to dog shit. She actually, not counting the hook because she's on the hook too, just in her verse says dog shit about 7 different times, and has lines like, he fucked the dog shit out of me on a Tesla.
Hallelujah, boy, this pussy whap. I got that Megan good. For he dogged me, I'm a dog his ass. Let's get that understood. On gang. Nice.
Fire.
Dude, I have no idea what I'm doing here, bro.
Yeah, bad feature. Little Baby. Atlanta Tears.
You know what? I'm not mad at this feature. I'm not. His flow is a bit off. It's definitely not that great and, you know, on sync with the beat. But nonetheless, good personal verse. Talks about how, you know, he's lost people in the streets and how he's looking back on his life and his career and how he would do it all over again. Yeah. That pretty much sums up the verse. Yeah,
I mean, cool feature. Low-key spitting, like you said, but kind of rapping a bit ahead of the beat. Wasn't really able to catch the tempo. But
they can't fuck with me at all. They paid the blogs to tell you different. Apparently, all the blogs are getting paid to hate on Baby. I'm not sure. Who's running the smear campaigns on Baby? Who's nasty enough to take that fucking budget?
It's not the music itself. It's the paid-off blogs, because the music's been incredible. All the way from 2020 to now, it's been outstanding.
But cool stuff. I'm getting this shit for clout. I'm trying to leave businesses for my children. I found that to be really cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's talk about Juwan Harris on I Wish. Kind of sounds like John Legend's understudy. That's kind of what I made out of that one, if I'm not going to lie to you. It's cool, though. It sounded very 2000s.
Yeah, adds a nice emotional depth to the track, but... To be honest with you, while I was listening to his choruses, I was just waiting for the next 21 verse, bro.
Yeah, I know.
That just feels like a little commercial within the actual like mainstay of the show. You know, it's like
it felt a little bit out of place, but whatever. For that type of sentiment of the song, where it's a tribute song and he's trying to be, uplifting in a sense, I get it. That being said,
you're waiting for the 21 verses.
Yeah.
I want to hear 21 rap.
When it comes down to the features of this album,
it's
like
mid,
I said,
bro.
Drake was okay. I mean, a few were okay. Only G Herbo impressed. It's mid. It's really mid.
It's really mid. It's the mid pack, and that's a shame because 21's feature lists are always kind of like low-key stacked, bro, especially for studio albums.
They are usually impressive. Yeah.
All right,
talk about the content.
Okay, yeah, we'll go on to content.
Yeah.
So,
it's a 21 Savage album. You know, you kind of know what to expect.
Don't ask him about Metro or Drake. he's gonna get mad at you. That's what he said
He
on Where
will.
You From. That was a huge topic of conversation for this track list, right? Was what's he gonna say about the beef? Obviously, he's been very vocal about it. He's literally did a whole press run about Drake. Like I feel as if leading up to
With
this album.
that interview that happened right before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't make much out of the bar, right? He did most of his talking about the situation, in that interview. So not really much to say there. I will say this, what really encouraged me to hear him out was any time that he was giving some creative ways to threaten his ops. Like that's really what I'm there for.
I know you brought
I
them
do
in.
have some.
I know you brought
If
them in.
rap wasn't working, I'd probably rob a Brinks truck. That was cold. Also, what else did he have here? You ever try the squad? We have you front row at a church. Nothing crazy, but again, it's like, oh, this one was funny. Rocking out with a stick like I'm Travis Barker. Then saying fuck content creators and threatens to smash their MacBooks if he sees them in person.
Yeah, he had quite a few words for the content creators. He does not like the content creators. Doesn't fuck with them. But let's go on to I Wish. I think that's probably the biggest writing standout of this entire track list. Speaks about so many people that we've lost in the hip hop genre, and says how he wishes it could have been different and how scenarios could have gone a different way. Right? There are so many people that got mentioned here. Whether it was Pop Smoke, Young Dolph was mentioned in here. You had Rich Homie Quan that was mentioned. I mean, if you guys want to pull up Genius, everyone that's mentioned is within the lyrics. But I thought that this was a really cool song concept for the album. I thought it was probably the strongest writing cut here.
It is the strongest writing cut, yeah, for all the reasons you just said. Another one that I think is pretty cool would be Atlanta Tears, where he has a sick bar about his friend fighting a case. I thought this was the best wordplay on the album. Dre got life. I paid a lawyer. Damn, I hope he beat Peel. The beat pill, Dr. Dre wordplay is pretty cool there, and just rapping about how he stands on his morals and how his environment kind of molded him into the man that he is today.
But you also have your filler verses on, let's say the second verse of Big Steppers, where he's talking about his girlfriend pressing him, right? Because she wants to figure out whether he's cheating on her and she's checking his phone. It's those types of themes that are getting repetitive within these 21 albums that now I kind of know the magic trick, right? I'm not going to go into a song like that and say, oh, well, that was cool. That's a nice little turn on this track list. No, it's been done before here. So I wasn't a big fan of that.
That's the thing. Even on a song like Gang Over Everything, where he's rapping about being tired of constantly grieving and how, people around him have changed as he's gotten more famous. He'll have, when he tries to attempt those types of deeper songs, he just struggles to maintain the topical focus. And I feel like that weighed down my rating for this category, which is mid, if I'm being real with you.
I gave it a good rating. I thought it was solid. I like some of the wordplay on here. I do like the concept on Wish. It's not mediocre.
I think it's mediocre for 21 Savage. I think it's
honestly,
it's
maybe
lacking punchlines.
I have good on my notes. I'll keep it at that for now. Maybe I'll revisit this at one point.
Yeah,
but it's
I
not
have
going
it
to
at
affect
the
me
mid.
too much.
Production, I think that we were talking about how his types of performances and writing cuts are divided in two. Same thing with the production, where the first half you're going to find those more ominous trap instrumentals that have, these looped piano chords or that have these sinister strings, whereas the second half is where you're getting more
the
of
samples.
More of the trap soul stuff, where you're getting the vocal sample flips and some more upbeat sounding songs like the outro.
I will say
example.
this, there's 4 songs on here that do have heavy vocal sampling on it. It comes down to Atlanta Tears, Halftime, Big Stepper, and Gang Over Everything. Even if I don't like a Big Stepper, I found the vocal sampling throughout those 4 tracks were all great. I thought it was a great change of pace for this track list, because if it would have been just straight ominous, dark Savage Mode 2 type beats, I've gotten that so much, so I do appreciate the duality out of this. Like you said, some of my favorite super dark and sinister beats on songs like Code of Honor, Where You From, where you get those little piano keys that kick in, and that adds tension into the production. I like that. Something like Cupful, where you're getting this really haunting synth and back, bro, that just gets looped up. And they're not too crazy, right? You're not getting any beat switches throughout this track list. You're not getting too much dynamic production, but
it's okay.
Yeah, he does what he does with this.
It's a bit underwhelming, to be honest. I feel like the creativity that you would have found on some tracks off of, let's say, his latest album, American Dream, before this
a Red Rum,
a Red Rum, where you're pulling from Brazil, and the way that the samples actually chopped up is brilliant. You're not gonna find those types of beats that blow you away. Pause. But that being said, I think that Wheezy did his thing on Where Are You From. That was a perfect beat for 21. Having the quick, sinister piano chord, those eerie church bells, the monstrous 808s and snares, that was perfectly tailored towards him. For example, you have him taking an old Zaytoven beat with which Gucci rapped over, which was Hit Another Lick. Same thing on Step Brothers. You have a DMX sample, which is the sample that DMX used on Stop Being Greedy. Nowhere near as effective as that one. Wish it had more progression, but still a cool sample flip.
You want to talk about the distorted synths on Mr. Recoup? How did you like that beat, bro?
That felt like a tiptoeing type of beat. You know what I mean?
That's what it was, yeah.
The synth bass was pretty heavy on it. The piano chord kind of felt like it was elementary, like something you'd hear played for like some kids. It was cool. I don't mind it. It just, I don't know. It sounds like something that someone could do like their first day on FL.
I think you kind of get annoyed after like the fifth listen.
Yeah.
Once that distorted bass like sort of starts off the song, and then the whole production switches to those sort of simplistic keys, and then they both come together for the midpoint of the song. It's so predictable, bro. And I'm going to say predictable for this entire fucking review because it's the same thing with the production for me. I thought the production was good.
I thought it was good too.
I gave it a good rating, but it was very predictable, and I think that there's probably a lot more room for potential on this.
I do want to talk about just the last beat. I'll speak about Gang Over Everything because that was a Metro beat. He was credited. He wanted to make it known that Metro was on it. And what was disappointing was that it wasn't even a fresh Metro beat. This was the beat that was taken from Deep Depression off of Lil Durk's album that came out this year. And he literally just took the same beat and rapped over it. So we didn't get Metro Taylor making any beats for 21 on this album, and I feel like
maybe he did, but just the fact that you probably heard this before,
and maybe this is because they want to save all their shit for Savage Mode 3. But I feel like Metro's presence was lacking on this. Like you felt his absence.
Yeah.
But yeah,
right, replay value. So what are you doing with this, Lou?
Listen, bro, this isn't a Savage Mode or a Savage Mode 2 or an I'm Greater Than I Was where I could really listen to the track list from start to finish. And usually that is the case with a 21 album because the track lists are usually concise. Even this album, bro, only 14 songs. I should be able to get nothing but fucking bangers, but that wasn't the case here. Realistically, probably about 4 songs that I would skip and quite a few that are middle of the road where like I'm indifferent. I just feel like this album doesn't offer me anything different than other 21 albums that I really enjoy.
So what are you keeping?
I'm keeping literally from my rotation. I'm not saying every other song is bad, but in my rotation, Cup Full, Where You From, Code of Honor, Gang Over Everything, and maybe Mr. Recoup.
Yeah, I would say no Mr. Recoup for me. Where You From?
Yeah.
Cup Full.
For sure.
I like Jump Out, actually.
Okay.
I do enjoy Jump Out. I like Code of Honor.
Yeah.
I like Halftime Interlude. I like the quick flow on there, so I'm going to keep it. And then that's pretty much it. I'm in the same place as you. It's a bit under half of the track list. And I feel like in the past, whenever he's dropped an album, he's always made my replays for Apple Music because whenever he does drop an album, I'm locked in for a long time. It was like that with American Dream. It was like that with Savage Mode 2. It was like that with the OG Savage Mode. Since I've been listening to him since 2016, I've been really locked in with his music. But at the same time, 4 to 5 songs, it's good. It's good. I'll take the 4 to 5 songs, but it's not. It doesn't have that replay value that makes you absolutely want to go back like his previous albums. Do you feel the same way?
I do. I have it as a mid rating.
I have it as a mid rating as well. Yeah. So overall thoughts for me, honestly, bro, like I was kind of in the middle. I was in the middle of mid to good because of the content matter.
Yeah.
I didn't know where to go with it. Do I feel like I have it on the same level as a UI Scooty or a Wham? No, I think it's definitely better than those projects.
Yes.
For Atlanta Trap, I do feel like it is some of the best material
of the year, I guess. As if the bar was high.
But nonetheless, though, I think that if this was kind of maybe stripped down because we're going to be getting Savage Mode 3 soon, I'm down for that. Like, I want to hear Savage Mode 3. My interest is still there. But overall, the fact that I'm only keeping 4 to 5 songs, the fact that I've probably gotten half of these flows or cadences on previous projects, like, it was a bit of a boring listen, guys.
It was.
It was a bit of a boring listen, with the exception of 4 to 5 songs. Feature list was uneventful, and it just kind of felt like pre-planned by the label. It's like, let's see how many streams you could rack up, and let's see how we could synchronize all the Spotify profiles together to get the streams up on this album. The beats were run-of-the-mill. I just
Really
at this
run of the
point, like,
mill.
just fucking get 21 in. Like, bro, no one else is gonna do the job for you. I don't know, dude.
I think
honestly,
that-
I'm gonna give it a good rating because that's where my scores lead. But I could see myself going down to mid at a certain point.
Yeah, I mean, listen, as someone who's been a big 21 Savage fan since 2016, I really left disappointed. And it wasn't because he had bad performances throughout it or a lot of the beats sucked. It's just because it was such a drag to get through, bro. And I just felt like these could have been leftovers from albums that came out like 7 years ago, bro. And it's like, we spoke about this with Jit too, which totally different scenario because that album was amazing. But this was another lateral move from one of my favorite artists where, you know, I don't need you to change up the style because the recipe fucking works, but you could improve upon that style. And I feel like that's what he didn't do with this album. He didn't bring in too many new interesting flows. He didn't really do anything outside of the box of what we expect. And even when it came down to, I know a lot of people are going to defend a lot of those writing cuts on the second half. Again, it's still surface level for 21. You've gotten those same types of tracks before, like A Letter to My Brother, and I'm like, what separates this from that, bro? Where the topical focus isn't there, and the lyricism is still surface level. There's not too much to be excited about is the bottom line with this album, which could have been the best trap album of the year if he really locked in and brought his A game, which I really feel like, unfortunately, he didn't, bro. 14 songs. It should have been a consistent listen all throughout, and it wasn't. It's a strong mid rating for me. It's on the upper echelon of
You
a
see,
mid
I'm
rating.
light good. You're strong
I'm
mid.
strong mid. That's
yeah,
where
it's
at.
tough. Like, I feel like we're probably going to meet in the middle at a certain point, but nonetheless, it was a pleasure listening to this album with you guys on Thursday night. What Happened to the Streets full live album reaction went down on our Patreon plan. Click the link in the pinned comment. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next review. Peace.